Hi guys and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video, another Frieren Friday, best day of the week obviously, and we are checking out episode number, I think it's 17, I could be completely wrong, I should check that before we continue. Wow, it turns out we're actually on episode 19, who would have thought that we were this far along already in Frieren, absolutely insane, so much fun to check the series out, I'm really enjoying it so much. Last episode we left off with this great big plan that, I can't remember her name, it's something like Kane, I think, had thought up that she shared with Frieren. We didn't learn the plan to try to catch this bird. Forgive me for forgetting the name of the bird. And yes, we're going to see where that leaves off. We're hopefully going to catch up with Fern. We're going to catch up with Ubel, the terrifying murderer. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some of the other characters that were introduced during that big gathering that are supposedly huge threats within this recruitment or kind of a application thing for rank 1 mage and everything like that. Hopefully we get to see more, hopefully we get to meet new characters, hopefully the world and magic of this world is fleshed out a little more and we get to actually see some more of that in action. I cannot wait. It's going to be an absolutely crazy ride, I'm sure, seeing all this magic within this arc. It's going to be so much fun to just see Madhouse go off in this. I'm sure Madhouse is going to do an absolutely incredible job. I'm sure that this is going to look insane this entire rest of the season. If this is going to be the rest of the season, I don't know. I don't know if the next like 8 or so episodes will all be within this school setting or if we will eventually leave it and we'll get to set up a little for season 2 at the end. I'm excited to find out where this takes us. I'm excited to find out what Stark's role is going to be within all of this, if he even has a role. Maybe he's just taking a huge backseat with all of this going on. Maybe that's why they also sidelined Zine when they did, the writer of the series, the mangaka. Maybe they did that because what are they going to do with two characters that are on the sidelines, whereas with Stark, you know, you can kind of just forget that he's there because we're focusing so much on Fern and Frieren, whereas like if it's two characters, it might be a little hard to believe that we don't see them whatsoever. I don't know. Maybe they'll actually get up to something. Maybe there'll be more to see here. But yeah, I'm going to stop my yapping. I'm really excited to check this one out. If you guys enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Hit the bell down below so that you're notified every time I post a video. And yeah, let's just dive right into this. Here we go. Alright, so let's check out episode number 19 and see what we get in this one. I'm really cautiously excited to see what direction this arc goes in because it's still very early days, that everything seems to be okay, but I can't imagine with the cast of characters that have been introduced being poised to be as dangerous as they are. I can't imagine there isn't going to be some crazy drama that comes down out of this. So let's see if we get any in this episode and let's see if we can kind of sense what direction that we're going here. So let's go. Oh, here we go. We're getting a little bit of recap, of course. Kick things off with some recap. That's the best way to do it. I realized while I was editing, I don't know if any of you guys have checked out the opening video that I did recently for spring 2025, but within that opening video I checked out the Yorishika opening for Shoshimin How to Become Ordinary Season 2. I'll just say it right now, that right now is my favorite opening of the year. Maybe, probably. We'll see where that goes at the end of the year. But I realized that opening and this one do sound a little similar. So yeah, I think that's really funny. But you know, a big part of why I love that opening that I'm talking about so much is because of the visuals and the song. And this one is another one that is just incredible. I love this opening so much. And yeah, now that I recognize some of the characters, maybe I shouldn't pay so much close attention. I feel like I might see something I don't really want to see. We'll see here. But yeah, I'm so excited. Well laid plans, episode 19, the best laid plans of mice and men. It's not the exact same quote, but yeah, we'll see what the well laid plans are here. These two are adorable. Like, that's the first time we've seen them, like, not fighting and they're cuddled up with one another. Oh, shit. Aisen's always shaking when he's scared. Or anxious or nervous or whatever. He'd be a fool not to be. He's never faced something like this before. Man, I love this group so much.
鼓舞するつもりだったんだが、すまない。うまくいかなかったみたいだ。
いや、おかげで緊張がほぐれた。ヒンメル、自然体でいいですよ。こういうのはきっと冒険の仲間ごとに変わってくるものです。
God damn, they've got me emotional again. This series is something else, man. I love just following Himmel's group. It is inspiring. Different people need different things. Different parties need different things. Oh shit. They caught one too. You don't know someone's not going to come up. Yep, people are going to come and try to steal it. I never thought about that until she just said it was the hard part coming up. Oh shit. Was there a stele released for every party or? This is true. That's crazy.
さらに竜みたいに頑丈で波の攻撃魔法じゃびくともしないし高速も破られる。
Yep, they're crazy.
おまけに魔力にとても敏感だ。
I'm like,
こっちが魔力を抑えて近づいてもすぐに逃げられちまう。
that's crazy. They just know. When it's like flying away really fast towards the screen, it's just making me think of like that one shot of Black Adam. So they haven't caught one yet, but they have a plan. Yeah, they probably know something's up.
そもそも見つけられたとしてもどう捉えるのか見当もつかねえ。
I thought there was a plan.
昨日の夜、シュティレを捕らえるのに役に立つかもしれない魔法の実験をしていたんだよね。
What did you do, Frieren? Tell us.
にはもう見せたよ。
Was it the binding one? It was the binding one! Hell yeah! Wow. 1,000 years ago. That's really cool. Yeah, that is a crazy cool binding spell. So convenient that you just so happen to have something like that, huh, Frieren? Well, because you probably have to be close. You probably have... She has to be right up against it to touch it. 50 centimeters, yeah. I figured because she was right up against the other one.
うまく凍らせられれば可能だろうが、魔力に敏感な上に頑丈で凍りにくい。多分動きを封じる前に逃げられちまうだろうな。私の魔法なら大量の水があれば足止めは簡単だと思うけど。
Oh shit, you're that confident. I love it.
でも私が使えるのは水を操る魔法で。 水自体を生成することはできないんだよね。
Turn into Frozone and use the water in the air.
事前に魔力を込めておかないと難しいかな。雨みたいに分散していれば大量の水でもすぐに
Like rain, we need the rain. That's what your plan was.
魔力に敏感なシュティレは絶対に寄ってこないだろうね。
We need to trap it. We need to lure it somewhere else. We need to make it think it's safe or it's dangerous in one area when really that's just a trap. You're going to be somewhere else where it's going to speed off and that's how you catch it. Maybe. I hope. I think that would be cool anyway. I really want to see them use the rain to their advantage. I think that would be so cool. But then I don't know if the rain's getting through the barrier of the dome.
こうでもしないと捕まえられない。怖いの？ロビーヌ。
Absolutely. Wow, every party is different, huh?
とりあえず
Fourth party.
試験終了まで潜伏してやり過ご
The
そう。
test is over. Is hiding in a cave really a great idea? You're kind of cornering yourself.
不要な戦いを避けるのも魔法使いだ。
Oh, I didn't read. I'll have to check that after the episode, like what their rankings are.
中央に湖があったはずだ。
Your voice sounds familiar.
どうやらそううまくはいかないみたいだ。これってさ、道だと思っていたけれども、枯れた
A
川だ
dry
よ。
riverbed, so
しかも似たような地形が何箇所もあった。
they know that someone's using water
地理すら
domain.
通さない強力な対物理結界だよ。
もしかして水も通さないんですか？
お
枯れ具合から見て結界を張ったのは1週間以上前だね。水のほとんどは盆地の真ん中にある湖に集まっていますね。
だからって湖の周りに受験者がまとまっているとは限らないでしょう。
Hunger Games type shit. Everyone's gonna converge in a
私たち
central
は水
area.
を持ち歩けます。
それに気がついた連中が最大の水場である湖の周りに張り込んでいるわけか。
それ衛生的にどうなの？
This is the guy in a clan from the north. Oh shit. Wow, he was going for a killing blow. That's crazy. That's another killer right there. Good shit, Burn. You're always on the ball. You're so fast. Always the first to react. Wow, look at them. Look, they've both got killer eyes. Sharp. Third class mage. Second class mage. And Veerbell, second class mage. You have a very familiar voice.
シティレの入ったカゴを置いていけ。
嫌だって言ったら
なら言葉は不要だな。
Wow, I can't wait to see this. This is going to be a fun fight to watch. Is that Frieren?
湖
it's Frieren going to be like, I know who's there. Oh, it's Lavine and Kane. They're using the water to their advantage here. They're gonna catch the bird, but they're drawing a lot of attention to themselves right now. And that's pretty scary. They just iced over all of the water. That's crazy. Like, the fact that she was able to do that.
この魔力、第二パーティーのやつだな。何考えてやがる。
Is that Jean from AOT? Oh, holy shit, everyone's like, we need water! Denken. Waste of time and effort. You're an Imperial Mage, what are you doing here? What does that even mean? Yep, exactly. Oh shit, everyone's after the second party. You're sitting ducks at this point, everyone's after you. Well, not everyone, because, you know, some are after Fern right now. More water? Ah, this is the actual water we're gonna use. Okay, we're setting up the trap here because we're forcing them to come here. Wow, I'm really loving this arc so far. There's so much up in the air. Is scattering a good idea?
Yep,
Dankin, you better take your gang out of there. Well-led plan, there it is. You sound familiar too. So many familiar sounding voice actors here, and I am the last person on this earth who's actually going to figure out who they are. Damn, holy shit.
じいさんせめて下ろしてあげようよ
What can we do? That's awful, they're just killing mages. That's brutal. That is awful. Geisel. Interesting.
このパーティーはまんまと術中にはまり全滅したわけだ。この程度で死ぬやつは一級魔法使いにはいらないということだ。
Yeah, this is true.
大陸魔法協会は
It's
一級魔法使いの質
brutal.
を気にしているからな。魔王
It
軍
is
と
a
戦っていた時代
brutal
の
thought, though.
強く誇り高い魔法使いを未だに夢見ている連中がいるのさ。魔法使いに質などいらん。一級魔法使いはただ単に権威の象徴であればいいのだ。人心を掌握できなければ無力も同じ。
Is that where Frieren's going to feel?
魔法使いが失脚し迫害される様を山ほど見てきた。大きな力は恐れられる。恐れの権威など長続きせん。なるほど。あんたくらい弱いのがちょうどいいってわけだ。
As weak as you, that's so funny. Is he weak? Yeah, I'd love to see what he can do. He's an Imperial Mage after all, whatever that means. We found a little patch of water here. Are they going to figure out the plan? Are they scouting, trying to find good spots? Or, like, what's the actual aim here? If anyone can conceal, it's Frieren.
今まで見てきた水場全部だ。わずかだが水に魔力が込められている。
So they're putting mana everywhere but one place, so they're forcing the birds to go to one spot.
かけた本人すら感知できないだろう。
Shit.
それほどに微量だ。
But could the birds detect it? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
この水場にはもう近づかな
The
い
girl in this party is reminding me of the girl from Gintama.
そっか
Her
どこかに
appearance.
魔力を込めていない水場がある
少し休む
Yep. Take a rest and let us
試
do
験
it.
区域は広大だ本気で潜伏する魔法使いを見つけられるわけなかろう
行けや泉に手当たり次第に魔力を込めてきたよ
Good job. Eventually, they're gonna
じゃあ
get scared
私は
here.
ここでシュティレを待ち伏せするよ
Okay, Frieren, go off. Oh shit, look at that.
マジかよ魔力って完全に消せるもんなんだな
Completely,
じゃな
yep.
いよ
Well,
さすがに動けば少しは魔力が漏れる
it's,
わかんねえよ
but
私たちは見張りだな
someone could sense it. That's the point. Astile could sense it. So she just has to stay completely still. Damn, she could have picked a more comfortable sitting position. Aw, coming to the watering hole. That's so sweet. That's adorable. They don't sense Frieren as a threat whatsoever. That's like a deer dog. Oh, wow. One of these big piss-off things isn't even gonna target her because it doesn't sense her as a threat. That's crazy. Good for you, Frieren. We recognize the color of those feathers. It's literally on her. That's so cool. Wow. That was such a cool way to catch it.
他のパーティーに喧嘩を売った甲斐があったぜこれで第一次試験突破だね
Not necessarily. You're gonna be attacked in 0.5 seconds.
いや
見つけたやはり魔法使いおったなどんなに優秀な魔法使いでもこの瞬間だけはごまかす
誰かに
Shit.
探知された早くここから逃げるのはもう遅いみたいだね
ジュベラール
Who are you? Wow, stop using feathers, flowers against us. Holy shit. Wow, it's just like a civil war right now. You got this, Fern. This is nothing to you. Holy shit. Fern is going for what looks to be a killing blow.
古い戦い方だ私のおじいちゃんと戦っているみたい一般攻撃魔法と防御魔法基礎的な魔法しか使わないのね
That's all she needs. She's as fast as they
基礎的
come.
な魔法以外は使わないように言われてますからこの時代の魔法使いならそれだけで十分だと
Nobody's as good as they were back then. I love that. Holy shit. It's a shotgun.
まただなんだろうねこの違和感
This feeling of wrongness is that you're facing
魔法使いが対峙しているみたいだ
She is the pupil of Frieren.
この中で一番強いのはあなたですよね
Ubel versus
魔王軍
Virbel.
と戦ってきた
Northern
北部魔
Magic
法隊
Corps.
の隊長よ実戦経験の桁が違うあいつが使うのは品性の
Yep,
まる
he
でない
just seems like a
かつての
wild
卑怯
beast.
な魔法今ビアベルと戦ってる子
Oh no, Ubel will be fine.
そうですか
No! Why do they do this? Why is recent Frieren like this? It just ends in such a I need more. I need more. I need Frieren Friday to come around again. I need more. This arc is incredible already. I'm gonna reset my camera and everything, so just give me a second. I know we're only 2 episodes into this, but I am having so much fun. I love the magic in this series, and a lot of what we've seen has been very simple, you know, like it's been using silly little spells to do silly little things, and there's been a lot of lessons being learned within this series, and yeah, I think that that's been kind of the main focus, whereas this arc is about the magic, this arc is about the mages, this arc is about getting from down here to up here. Like, it's going to be a genuinely fun ride, and it's going to be incredible to check out. I'm so excited for this, and already I am hooked. I am really in there. Sorry, let me take this off too. I feel like my head's going to start hurting if I keep screaming. I think what I'm loving so much about this arc is being introduced to more characters, for one. I love that this arc is completely focused on introducing new types of magic. We haven't really seen those new types of magic just yet, or maybe we have. Lavine and Kane use the water and everything. Maybe that's considered a new type of magic, but you know, we're being told that Frieren uses an old type of magic, so it's going to be really exciting just to follow that along, to see exactly what that means for Frieren, what that means for these new guys. Can Frieren actually beat this girl with old magic, as Frieren said? That's going to be really interesting, because it's the case where you could look at it as, well, Frieren was brought up in a time where magic was much more prevalent. There were more mages, and so the magic she uses obviously is super insanely powerful. But you could also flip the script and say that the new guys on the block have taken those old magics and changed them, they've added to them, they've adapted them, they've made them better. So it's going to be really interesting to just see how true that is, if that is actually the case, or what ends up coming from that fight. I think that that's probably a fight that I'm looking forward to the most. Secondly would probably be the fight between Ubel and Veers something. I can't remember exactly his name, but you know, that guy, they both have killer eyes and they are both out for blood. They are both out to kill one another. So I just don't know what way that's going to go. Are we going to get some kind of treaty, or is there going to be something that happens that ends up splitting everyone up? Like, what ends that fight? Is it simply that time runs out and so some people are eliminated, some aren't, and those that are eliminated have to stop fighting immediately, or they will have their licenses revoked or something like that because they'd be just trying to kill someone when there is no sanction for it, or there is, like, what, you know what I'm trying to say. There's like no allowance for it, I guess. You know, I thought we'd be starting this episode with the plan that they had thought out, and then learning that this episode was called Well Laid Plans. I thought that was alluding to the fact that this would be immediately kicking off with the plan that they had discussed at the end of the previous episode. But apparently that didn't happen. Like, I really don't understand what happened between the end of the last episode and the beginning of this one, because at the previous episode it was like, that could work. Like, it seemed like they had a plan, but then this episode they didn't have a plan and they were working things out. It was really confusing and awkward and strange to me. So please, this is one of those moments where I want you guys to explain exactly what happened to me. I am so confused. I really don't understand how it goes from, we've got a plan, this could work, to, well, we watched it, but we don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say bad writing, but it's confusing writing. It didn't seem to flow well for me. It just was strange. But I don't wish to give bad marks to this episode or to the series simply for that. I do think that this was still a really fun episode, and regardless of that, I appreciate that we got to see the conversations for the plan. I appreciate that we got to see them figure out together as a team what they wanted to do here, and I think that that's a really strong point of this series, or this episode anyway. And a lot of that calls back to the conversation that Frieren was a part of. Well, she wasn't really a part of, but was there for with Himmel and the gang, you know, where Himmel was like, hey, first fight with the dragon, let's go, guys. And then he asks Aizen, are you nervous? You're shaking. And Aizen's like, yeah, of course I'm nervous. I'm terrified. Himmel, in that moment, kind of seems to almost crumble, but not like in a terrible way. He just feels that he was supposed to be the person that inspired others, and he feels like he failed in that sense. And yeah, he just kind of says that, but that's when Hyder says, just be yourself. That's all we need you to be yourself. And Aizen himself is like, no, you help me calm my nerves, you help me see the right way, you help me see that this is going to be okay, we can get through this. And that's really important, because they also say then every party is different, because Himmel is trying to emulate a different party. He's trying to emulate a hero from another party, someone that he isn't, someone that he doesn't need to be. And so Frieren remembers those words, and she puts those into practice with this party right here. Obviously, she also puts it into practice with the party that she's in with Frieren and Stark. But right here, she really needs to focus on that, because she does not know these people. These people are completely alien to her, because they seem to be so strange. They are always fighting. They can't seem to find common ground a lot of the time, and it seems that they will not be able to find a way forward. But Frieren needs to take that into perspective and figure out what they need, what to do, and how to accomplish a goal here. And she does it masterfully. She recognizes from the conversations she had with Kana, I hope I'm getting the name right, the nature of their relationship. And the nature of that relationship, Frieren kind of uses here. She doesn't ask them necessarily to work with one another, but to work together to achieve something. And that's something that they have always done very well, we learned in the previous episode with that flashback. So I think that the plan here worked really well, simply because Frieren took into account the way these two characters work with one another. And the knowledge that Kane, I don't remember, can use mana in water. That was very important, and Frieren learned that, and she was able to use that to her advantage. And the fact that she knows Lavine is very powerful, despite how she looks, she can control the water to turn it into ice. So she was a huge part of the plan to turn the entire pond, the entire lake, into ice, so that Kana could go around and put her mana into all these different holes, and so that would lure them into one place. Because if there's one thing Frieren can do, and can do very well, it's suppress her mana. And that's something we learned all the way back, like almost 10 episodes at this point, with Aura. I cannot believe it has been that long. That is absolutely insane. And yeah, we are now in a really incredible position where we have a team that knows they can work together, but by the end of this episode, they are in danger and they are in trouble. And that's the scary thing here. But they're not the only ones in trouble. And that's kind of what we learn throughout this entire episode. Everyone is vying for the teams that already have one of these stelae. A lot of them are now realizing they don't have the time to catch one themselves. They have to steal one. And so we see several teams fighting. We see the team with Virbel. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, or I'm getting it wrong. I just know that it's kind of like that. It's something around that, in that realm anyway. The name is, his team is choosing to go after Fern and Ubels. And I think that that's really interesting, because that way we get to see these two killers vie for one another, and that's going to be a really, really fun fight. I know I've already said this, I'm going in circles at this point, but I'm really, really excited and interested to see how that plays out, because I can't see either of those characters dying just yet. I can't see that being the case. I know that it's very possible they could kill each other if they wanted. There's no reason they can't. They will not be disqualified, but they just seem a little too important, maybe, and too powerful and too strong to be killed off at this point. I don't think that's going to be the case, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. All I know is Fern's going to beat this girl. I just know that. Fern's going to beat her. Like, there's no doubt in my mind Fern is going to win that fight. That is such an easy W for Fern. She is going to walk out of that in no time at all. I wonder if it's going to be a complete washout, and I think that that's going to be really I know that that's always going to be a huge plus when it comes to Fern's power, the fact that she has speed like that, but I don't know what's going to come from that. I don't know if she's going to simply win every fight with speed, or if there's going to be something that kind of counters that. I don't know if it's going to be this fight, I don't know if it's going to be another, but it'll be interesting to see if her speed is enough the entire series. We know that the plan is for Frieren to take the stelae using the 50 centimeter capture bird spell, and it's so fun learning all these different spells that she knows. She refers to this one as a folk spell. I wonder if the categorization or term that she uses with this being a folk spell is going to be relevant, is going to be important, is going to be something that comes up again in the future, or if that's kind of like a one-off, if it's just like the last time that we see that, if we hear from that or anything like that. I don't know if folk spells are any way different, if they are something that have special meaning in this world or anything like that. I know that it was developed in a time where magic was greater and there were more mages and everything like that, and this is kind of described, I think, as like a great folk spell. So it's interesting that back in the day, even when the Demon King was at large, they were creating these spells for simple means. And a lot of what Frieren collects are these simple little spells that somehow end up being needed, being necessary, being relevant to plot-driven moments in this series, and this is simply one of those. And I love that this is another example of Frieren being so old and wise and non-dismissive of all these minor spells that others might just pass off, that it really just helps them. She is so smart and so knowledgeable and so aware of what she can do, what she cannot do. And this is one of those cases where she realizes, hey, we gotta catch a bird, and I got a catching bird spell, but we need to think of a plan to trap it, to catch it. And that's exactly what they do. We got a big scary beardy boy chasing us. His voice actor sounded so familiar, it was really pissing me off. I think that, you know, the different techniques that the different teams use within this episode are really eye-opening to just the way different people think, the way different mages will maybe do what they need to do to accomplish their goals and everything. Not everyone is going to just go out and do what the obvious plan is. Some are going to sit back, some are going to relax, some are going to rest until the point that they need to actually intervene. And yeah, that's kind of what this whole episode is about. I love the plan, you know, using the water and everything, but you know, you do also get others who just are ready to spring into action and fight rather than trying to do their own thing. And I feel like some of them just almost decided they wouldn't fight, or they wouldn't try and find and capture a stele themselves. They just realized, hey, we're going to go to this water and we're going to just steal birds if we see them. Like, that just seemed to be the plan that some of them definitely just went for immediately. And yeah, I love the whole part as well where they're walking through the forest and you see the dead people in the trees. It's grim, it's gruesome, it shows the brutality and the awful side of what is happening here, this whole rank 1 business. And yeah, we learn about the politics of being rank 1. It's not about if you're stronger, it's about if you can win over the hearts and minds of the people. If you can be a charismatic figure enough that people will like and respect you opposed to fear you, because fear doesn't do anything. Maybe I'm butchering and not recalling how this actually played out at all, but yeah, I'd love to learn more about that. I can't wait. I hope that we do learn more. And Frieren's plan to sit completely still was so cool. I love seeing all the different animals come to the watering hole and everything. It was cute, it was adorable, it was so nice to just see that they didn't sense her as a threat. It was so cool that they could co-inhabit the same world without any issues and everything like that. But at the end of the day, a stele came and landed on her shoulder and she was able to capture it. How cool is that? And then, of course, that's when we get people showing up trying to kill them, and we'll get to see how that plays out in the next episode. Sadly, I feel like I don't really have much to say about this episode. I feel like this was a really just great setup episode for big fights coming in the next handful of episodes. So I hope that we get to see some crazy moments. I hope that we get to see our people come out on top. Apologies for putting the headsets on again. I know that seemed kind of random. I was just listening to little clips back and stuff and trying to figure out if I could figure out voice actors. I could not. I'm really bad at this stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below letting me know if you were in this position. Would you try to capture your own stele, or would you try to just steal someone else's? And yeah, that's going to do it for me. I hope that you guys are having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.